Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. With us today is Boomi Software. We are Winslow Technology Group. My name is Alex Zagajewski. I am a Senior Solutions Architect from Winslow Technology Group. And with me today are Scott DeBlay, Principal Technologist and Evangelist from Dell Boomi, as well as our Chief Technology Officer, Rick Gowan. Today we will discuss the challenge for every IT professional, joining all of your data in your various platforms to work together. So after a quick kickoff and give you a brief overview of Winslow Technology Group, I will hand over the microphone to Scott to tell you how Boomi Solutions can help you instantly connect everyone to everything. After that, Rick will discuss Winslow's experience as a Boomi customer. And I would also like to point out to everyone that anyone who meets with our friends at Boomi after this webinar will receive a complimentary butcher box, pictured here. So a little bit about Winslow. We have been in business for over 18 years as a technology solutions provider, headquartered in Waltham, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. We have a distributed workforce and have open satellite offices in Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as New York, New York. Our goal is to identify and develop expertise in what we consider to be game-changing technologies, and our partnership with Boomi is a great example of that. Winslow works with customers like you to tailor technology solutions that solve for both today's problems and tomorrow's opportunities. We do specialize in hardware, software, and services, not only for the core data center, but also end user compute, complemented by cybersecurity, disaster recovery, and cloud solutions. We have an installation base in 37 states, 4 Canadian provinces, as well as some international locations. Speaking of services, Winslow's practice focuses on a data center, cloud, end user compute, and cybersecurity. Our engineers have a combined over 100 years of service and carry relevant industry certifications. So our effort is always to offer our customers an organized and comprehensive menu of engineering services, whether it's implementation, support, or consulting, that strive to be cost effective and personalized in nature. Here we have just a taste of some of the accolades that Winslow has received from our partner OEMs, as well as industry recognition. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Scott, who will lead our session on how to interconnect your users with your data. Scott, over to you.
Great, thank you, Alex. So we're going to talk about what Boomi is and what Boomi provides today. I'll go through it fairly briefly for all of you. My name is Scott DeBlay. I'm a principal technologist on the Boomi team. Boomi is a Dell Technologies company. We're a proud member of the Dell Technologies family, and we focus on what we call integrated experiences. And when you look at your environment today, you probably have a multitude of applications. Some of those applications are running within your own data center. Some you might be using as SaaS applications. Some you may be running in a colo or a cloud provider. Right, and they're all great. They're obviously providing functionality for your business, right? And they're doing what they need to do. But if all these applications and wherever they exist in a multi-cloud world and all the advantages we have with multi-cloud, it can lead to where those applications are essentially disconnected from each other. You know, by default, applications don't talk to other applications, right? They're intended for users. They provide means to be communicated with, and that's where Boomi comes in as kind of that glue in the middle. So we want to help you get to what we call a connected organization and put all the pieces together so data can flow easily from one application to the other. And we do that through a platform that we call Atomsphere, and it's a platform for delivering these integrated experiences. And when you look at it, let me go back up one slide. When you think about an integrated experience, you've probably experienced all of this in your regular lives from a consumer standpoint. You've probably have run an application on your phone or your laptop where you have ordered, for example, food, and it's being delivered to your house or to your business, and you can see when it leaves the oven. You can see where the person is, what road they're on. When they turn the corner and it's on your front doorstep. Obviously, when it comes to ordering products online, you've probably had that experience as well. And if you think about it from a business perspective, we're really trying to do that internally as well, right? We're trying to make that if one event occurs in a system that it automatically updates other systems, or automation is in play, or I have automated ways for your vendors and your customers to interact with your platform. So we look at it that to deliver those types of experiences, you need 3 really big categories. You need user engagement, data readiness, and pervasive connectivity. And in the Boomi platform, we deliver all of those pieces. And I'll just start kind of left to right and cover those from a high level. But when you look at all the pieces needed to put those things together, it exists in what's called integration platform as a service. Boomi is a leader in that world. We really kind of started that category of doing the first basically cloud native integration platform and how our product gets put together. And to us, it is all these pieces needed to have a holistic platform. Now, it doesn't mean you need all of them to start day one. You may start simply with, for example, the integration component, and then add others as you see needed over time. But again, we feel that to deliver everything you really need to do around data, you need to have all of these pieces. So let's start with what we call data catalog and prep. If you look across your environment, again, you probably have a number of different applications serving their purposes for your environment. All those applications, of course, storing their own data. Kind of long gone in my early days of IT, to date myself a little bit. You know, there was typically the giant database that a lot of other applications reference. You know, today, every application wants to own their own data, and it makes sense that they want to do that. But again, from that disconnected standpoint, how do you get an easy interface or an easy way for your business users to get the data that they need to maybe do reports or analytics or whatever you're doing in your environment? If they have to search across 7, 8, 9 different systems, correlate that data together on their own, try to format it, you know, into the correct way and ultimately present it, obviously that's a lot of work for them to do, and oftentimes that doesn't happen. So what something like a data catalog can do is it can literally index or catalog, reach out to all your various application endpoints, index all that system, what we call cataloging all that data, crawl it all, if you will, provide it all in a very rich metadata library. So make it easy to search for data that you're looking for. And it will show you all the various systems it's pulling data from. It has governance, so you can control, for example, who should see what information. Obviously, your average business user probably shouldn't see your customer's credit card number, as an example. So you can do all those types of things in the data catalog, but empower your everyday users to easily access and search for data. And then furthermore, build unique data sets as they need it. Maybe they are doing some analytics or need a specific data set for a report on how the business is doing. That really needs to come from multiple different systems. So that's where the data catalog and prep comes into play. Master Data Hub, think of that as hub is synchronizing data across multiple applications. Again, I'll use the example of a piece of information within your environment. Maybe it's your customer's address. And maybe that address, of course, is pretty critical to make sure you're shipping product to the right places and what have you, whatever your business happens to be. But if that address is updated in one system, is it automatically updated in all the other systems that reference that address? Or is it a unique part number? Or you can think of anything within your business environment today. You could probably think of 2 or 3 bits of information off the top of your head. They really absolutely should be in sync with all the other applications that reference that. And that's what we can help you with, is synchronize that data. Maybe CRM is your master for customer addresses, but ERP is your master for your vendor addresses, or whatever those systems happen to be, synchronizing those pieces all together. The pervasive connectivity portion comes into really what Boomi is best known for in the industry, and that's integration, and we'll touch on EDI. So we have a really, really powerful integration engine, and if you really look at the connected business that I was describing, it really starts there. What integration does, it's the ability to connect to a wide variety of different data endpoints. Certainly a modern application that would have a modern API. You can think of most any SaaS application you're using today would certainly have that, as well as a modern on-premise application. But that could be an Excel file that's sitting on an FTP site someplace that you need to read and then parse that data and do something with. There's a wide variety of different connectivity options or integration options our platform has. And then the real power comes into all the transformations that we can do. Let's pick an easy one. Maybe I need to read data from a database that's in the US and I need to send that to a database that's located in Europe. And of course, the date formats are slightly different. Instead of month, day, year, it's et cetera, different. So I would do a simple transformation as that data is coming through the Boomi integration engine. I need to, change this format, or I need to cleanse some of the data. I need to make sure that, I'll go back to the example of a customer's address. Is it have the proper zip code? Is it missing information? Can I enrich it in any way by adding data from third-party data sources as I'm integrating these systems together? So really, really powerful integration functionality to tie all those pieces in play. again, starts there. And EDI is really an extension of integration. Think of that as your way to do business transactions. You know, long gone are the days of fax machines, but that same kind of paper format, if you will, you know, purchase orders and stuff through an EDI transaction. Again, really just kind of an extension of integration. And then the user engagement standpoint comes into, as you can expect, how do you engage with users? Now, it could be two different modes of users. Those users could be your developers. Maybe you've got developers within your environment that are building applications. Maybe that's a mobile app for your business. Maybe you're using a third party to build some of those types of applications. And to really effectively do that, you want to kind of mask or gateway, if you will, from front end, your data within your environment with an API. In other words, developers want to consume APIs because it's easy for them to do so. That's what they're used to doing. They don't want to make direct database queries, for example, to a database. They'd rather pull from an API. You, as the IT kind of person within the environment, would rather not give them direct database access, of course, to your core systems, but would rather kind of feed them information in a controlled manner. So you could use Boomi to build an API within our framework. We would look just like any other application API, but in the background, what's really happening when that API is called is we're making the database query. You might have a whole different aspect of credentials of who can access what, how many calls they can make, those types of things. So that'd be a common use of our functionality. We can also do API gateway capability. And then from a true user engagement standpoint, we'd be building a low-code web UI. Now, often when it comes to some kind of integration, or even really all the other components as well, there's usually a human element to it, right? There might be, for example, when you're doing that data synchronization I was mentioned, that there are two systems that have a SCAT display. One's in Austin, Texas, and one's in Austin, Minnesota. Who's correct? You know, machines can only do so much to kind of say, here's what we think are conflicts, but we really need something to take it to the next step and validate, you know, are these two individuals or are these the same individual and something is wrong? So that's when you might surface a little application. That could be a text message that goes out. It could be an email with a link. It could be literally a web app on the phone. That great, here's our two things. The human makes the correction and then the process continues. All the way to, I need a full experience where I want to deliver, say, an onboarding function, whether that's partner onboarding, customer onboarding, et cetera, where I want to walk the user through on day one. Let's say it's a new employee within your environment, and to make sure that they are ready to go as soon as they get to your environment, assuming they're getting to your environment. Maybe it's getting to their office in their house these days, but regardless, maybe it's I want their picture taken, whatever HR stuff. Maybe they got a choice of what equipment they can select from, phones, laptops, etc. Great, I'll put that information into there as well. And then all that can be tied into the backend systems that ultimately present that information or support that information. So that's the Boomi platform, all those capabilities that we provide. This is a little bit more from a whiteboard standpoint, right? So this is where I come into play. My brain thinks in whiteboards and drawings. So here's those kind of same three buckets: engagement, connectivity, and data readiness put into a whiteboard. Now, what's unique about the Boomi platform is it's all within one platform. Again, we call the platform Atomsphere. But the way you access the platform, it's through your favorite browser. We call that your build, deploy, manage interface. So you're building what we call data processes, you're building APIs, you're building flows, which is that workflow tool, all within the Atomsphere platform. But you deploy those to what we call a runtime. So you can take an integration process, for example, that maybe connects to applications completely within your environment behind your firewall, right? You clearly don't want that data going to the cloud. So you would deploy what's called a Boomi runtime behind your firewall. Very simple install, runs on a multitude of different operating systems and in containers. Very lightweight, doesn't require any user interface because it gets all its directions from the platform itself. But you would build that process within our platform. You would deploy that process then to the runtime, wherever you want that runtime to be. And then that runtime executes from that point. So the data flow is actually through the runtime, not through the Boomi cloud. So you get the best of both worlds. You get the power of a native cloud functionality and all the things we have there as far as all the users we have and the capabilities that you have within that environment to build things quickly, but then you deploy it to these runtimes. Now, these runtimes could be anywhere. Maybe you're a retail organization and it might make sense to have one per store. Maybe you have edge deployments where you need things out in remote facilities to kind of pick up data there and then send it back to the core, et cetera, et cetera. So this is architecturally what a Boomi deployment might look like. Now, of course, the labels and applications on this screen, change those to your favorite applications running within your environment. But this is essentially the architecture of Boomi put it together there. The key to us with Boomi is to get these things done quickly. We are a low-code drag and drop platform for building these data processes, right? You need to get things done quickly in your environment. We totally understand that. We have a lot of capability in the platform to make integrations easy to do, easy to consume. Again, get things done quickly. There's a lot of AI function in the platform to help you do things such as data mapping between applications. But this screen quickly is essentially what it looks like to build in Boomi. This is a relatively simple build process here, but I encourage you to give it a try. You can see the URL at the bottom of the slide there. Feel free to go there and try this out. This will walk you through literally building this process you see on the screen here and give you a pretty good intuition of how Boomi works. I just wanted to close with a little bit of background on Boomi itself. We have over 12,000 customers. We are highly rated on the Forrester quadrant and the Gartner Magic quadrants for integration platform as a service. We're definitely one of the top companies in those spaces. We process billions of transactions in our environment annually. We have a very high customer satisfaction rate. So, don't take my word completely for it. There's a lot of information, you can get about Boomi in the marketplace. And of course, I think Rick here is going to share his experience using Boomi within the Winslow environment next. So thank you for the time.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, so hi guys, this is Rick Allen. I'm the Chief Technology Officer here at Winslow. And, Winslow is a Boomi customer ourselves. So we drink our own champagne here a little bit, and, they didn't give it to us for free. This is a product that we evaluated and purchased for our own needs, internally. So I wanted to kind of talk through our own use case. I think that there's some misconception around Boomi that it's for big companies only, or this is for companies that develop their own software or have developers. That's not the case. This is a solution that I think a lot of companies, if not every company, could make use of. And I kind of want to share this example of how we're using it, because I want to try and connect a real life use case to all these powerful capabilities that Scott just talked about. Winslow is a smaller company. We use all off-the-shelf software, very little in-house development. We have all these different systems that are powering our little business here. And we've found tremendous value in the Boomi platform to enable us to sort of make some IT transformations, right? So if you look at this graphic here, which is sort of life before Boomi, we have all these different systems internally. And if you look at this, many of your businesses probably have these same systems. You probably have a website. You might have something for services management, like scheduling and all that, maybe an e-commerce portal. Some of you may be aware that Winslow is able to set you up a customized portal with different things that you might want to buy, so you can do sort of online shopping with us, right? And take out all of the back and forth and all of that. We have a CRM. Many businesses have CRMs such as Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics. We have an accounting package like many companies do, and quoting. So all of these systems are separate. They're not integrated at all. And you have different people who might be entering stuff across these different systems. So if you think about your own business, you probably have some of these situations happening. For example, in a life without Boomi, if somebody ordered something on our e-commerce portal, we would actually have somebody copy and paste that data from the e-commerce portal into the CRM. And from the CRM, it would go on to be processed as an order. So that order actually had to wait until somebody, in this graphic, it looks like it's Courtney, copies and pastes the information from one portal into another, where it's picked up by the back-end team. Maybe it's Rebecca or Nino in this graphic who continue with the order processing. They would then have to update that information with the order and perhaps invoice information in the accounting package. So you had this kind of flow of data through people instead of through processes. And every time you have the same data being entered in multiple places, not only are you wasting money because you've got this magnification of work effort, but each step is an opportunity to introduce errors, right? So, we're literally talking about a small company with a handful of people, and we've got all this manual stuff going on. And so this sort of transformation towards being able to work better with online ordering and more modern approaches to interacting with our customers has led us to try and improve this situation, right? What is the point of having online ordering if that order still has to sit there and wait for somebody to copy and paste it? We're trying to streamline all of this. It'll speed up the flow of orders. It'll speed up the flow of capital in our business. It'll reduce the amount of overhead that all of these workers have to deal with, and generally provide a better experience both for our own employees and for our customers. So we kind of take a step forward to how it looks with Boomi. What we do is we ended up setting up our CRM as sort of the single source of truth for all the systems. And then all those other systems that we talked about on the last slide, they all sync with the CRM. So, for a practical example, let's say we add a new customer. In the past, we would have had somebody have to add that customer literally in every one of these systems. You would have a new customer that would be entered 5 or 6 times. And each time, like in one system, it's capitalized, and in one system, there's a typo. So for example, by making the CRM the single source of customer data, we now have that data consistent across all platforms. Now, if we want to add a new customer, we simply add it to the CRM, and it syncs with all of these other systems to add that new customer for us. So now we've reduced the effort. We've got 5 people who didn't have to get bothered with that new customer ad. We've improved the quality of our data because now we've got a single source. There's not, 6 times we're entering it, opportunities for errors, all of that stuff. So it really streamlined the operation. It improved the quality of the data. It sped up the time for data to propagate through our systems. So it was a tremendous benefit. And like I said, this is all off-the-shelf software. None of us are software developers. And even in a business like ours, we found tremendous benefit, as you can see, to implementing Boomi. So I hope that kind of provides a sort of real-world use case for how even small and medium businesses can really benefit and improve their operations and improve their engagement with their customers, improve their ability to leverage more modern ways to go to market using this platform. Now, obviously, the platform has a ton of other stuff it can do. Scott went through a bunch of different capabilities and features that we're not using yet. But just to give you an idea, this is sort of that core integration sort of a feature set that we've found a lot of value in. So with that, I think I'm going to hand it off back to Alex.
I believe you are indeed, Rick. Thank you very much. There we go. So, Rick and Scott, thank you very much. That was a really great overview of what Boomi's platform can do for one's data streams. And as we have gone through this conversation, we had one question pop in for you gentlemen. What about running analytics across the data pool? Scott, Rick, would you guys like to weigh in on that?
Yeah, so yes, I'll weigh on that. Certainly, sorry for the delay there. Get myself off mute. If the person who asked could maybe expand on that question a little bit further, but why that's happening. One of the problems we see often that we're trying to help customers solve is when it comes to analytics, it's about getting the data where it needs to be so the algorithms can do their work, right? So you think about that integration story, even what Rick was just telling. if the data is scattered across a multitude of applications and you're trying to do analytics that involve a variety of different data sets and they're not integrated together, that can be a real challenge. So think of Boomi as the plumbing, right, that can help. Maybe you're trying to build a data warehouse, for example, or a data lake. How do you feed that data lake effectively with the data from a variety of different data sources transformed into the way the data lake wants to see it, so your data scientists and analytics engines can actually do the work quickly? So that's an aspect Boomi can help with.
All right,
I would add one more. I'm sorry,
ahead,
Alex. One more thing I think is kind of interesting in that regard. Boomi can also help facilitate some of those analytics by assisting with, for example, the data ingestion. So Scott actually showed an example where they were converting, the sample he has converts a file perhaps to a different CSV or XML format or something like that. An interesting use case for Boomi as it relates to these analytics is in data transformation. So you can do field mapping across perhaps different formats. Perhaps you want to get logs from one application into like an ECS, like an Elastic Comma Schema type format, to be fed into Elasticsearch or other other stacks that facilitate your analytics. So Boomi can definitely play a huge role in that, and that's something that we're looking at it for as well.
All right, Rick, thank you. Scott, thank you very much for that answer as well. And lacking any additional color in that question, we'll move on. So hold on one second. So that being said, as data strategy is increasingly becoming a focus of our customers, we definitely do suggest that, as Scott and Rick alluded, this is a conversation you absolutely must start internally and then eventually with us, so we can connect you with the folks at Boomi to streamline your data entry, eliminating the potential for those errors, as well as taking the redundant work out of the equation, thus creating for a subsequent smarter access to all of your data. And speaking of data, Winslow takes a very data-driven approach to pretty much all the solutions that we position. And to do so, we have created a number of useful and relevant assessments, with the hybrid cloud assessment and this security evaluation just being a couple. So if you'd like to sign up with any of these, please contact your Winslow account executive today. And with that, I'm going to thank you for joining us today. We hope that you've we've provided you with some valuable knowledge. If you'd like any additional information regarding Boomi or Winslow, please contact us at webinars, that's plural, @winslowtg.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day.